In for Baccarat, and that goes in! Hugo Baccarat gives Flint City a 3-2. Buckley, the ball falls to Buckley. One-on-one with Etheridge. What a save!
Welcome into the first ever MSN All-State Media Day for girls soccer. Jonathan Turner alongside Dan Stickrett.
Ball comes in, a good head! 1-0! Shot, another save from Etheridge! Rebound, and it goes in the back of the net. The Bulldogs up 1-0! Burzma, but then for Vlasma! 3-0! Stewart Heiss with a shot! Upper 90 and in!
Effectively today here on the Michigan Soccer Network, we are launching our new division of player recruitment videos.
Mario Canoe now finds Sock. Finds Sock's got a left-footed banger. He shoots it! It's in! The Red Hawks equalize! All right, welcome back into the DCFC Recap Show. Jonathan Turner alongside Neil Rule. A little different setup here today, Neil. We will continue to do new and exciting things here as we grow as a platform. But, hey, while we were doing some new things, Detroit City FC was getting back to their winning ways here this past weekend and get Rhode Island on the road.
No, absolutely. It was a huge road win. It was one that they needed to get. Now, look, we talked about it last week to some degree. I talked about it on the broadcast for Detroit 50. I was not in the camp of, quote, the sky is falling or anything like that. As we talked about on our broadcast, lots of teams are going to go to Louisville and lose and go to Orange County and lose. Like, that's the way that it works. I mean, I didn't expect Detroit City to go 36-0. I don't think anybody did. So, and I know that, you know, depending on the narrative or perspective or things like that, like you could talk about, well, it's the first win in 50 days and all that kind of stuff. It's a little more nuanced than that. You know, as I said, when you take a look at the schedule, you take a look at life on the road, you know, you're going to have stretches like that. You don't get 3 points every match, but City took it to another level when they felt they had to. And the Rhode Island victory was a big, big victory, and now they're coming back home against Charleston.
That they are, and you know we're gonna something we haven't done before, Neil. We're gonna put some highlights in here. We're gonna fast forward here to the 36th minute, and walk us through this goal.
No, and look, Ben Morris was on point, and this is a great move by Sheldon, and that's a tried and true soccer move, right? The old give and go, and then Sheldon with the cross. And how about Yazid? And it doesn't get talked about a lot. Yazzie with his head up the whole time finds Victor Becerra and obviously, you know, couldn't get the finish. But Maxi did. It's something that when I talk to coaches, and I've done soccer matches with guys who have played in the Premier League, guys who have been longtime coaches in the game, pretty much every level of player. And one thing's been universal, and it can't be stated enough. Maxi Rodriguez to the post. Kids, if you're watching this, if you're a kid watching this right now, it's something I talk about with my daughter's teams, my son's teams, and to be fair, you know, USL Championship coaches will say the same. If you're involved in the play, get to that post, the ball will find you. You'll score 2 to 3 goals a season just based on that, and that's exactly what Maxi did. But the play was beautiful. Sheldon and Ben Morris was phenomenal. The man of the match on our broadcast. He was absolutely phenomenal, and that was a great goal. And Carlos Saldana, look, this is one of my favorite clips of the game, too. They didn't run it all the way through. He gave his proper thanks for that ball going wide, and then the one that really closed Rhode Island off here, and it's that guy again, Ben Morris, who just kind of slotted it through. And Victor Becerra, if only they were all like that, I'm sure, for Victor Becerra. And this was a huge moment in the match, too. Not because he didn't score or anything like that. Just Elvis Amo being dynamic. And just that couple moments he was out there on the pitch, you saw what was missed with him. And he is the guy. Elvis Amo is that guy. And he is back. He's a double-digit goal per season threat. We've seen it throughout his career. He changes everything for the guys. I'm telling. I know in the media we overstate things sometimes, and we like to be grandiose. He changes everything. You see the class, right? Like just in that clip that we saw, you see the class and the composure that Elvis Amo has. He is back on the scene. Detroit City got a big win, and away they go. Still with matches in hand. Like, contrary to popular belief, the sky was not falling, and everything is back and right with the universe.
That it was. If we take a look here at the overall stats here this past week, shots 16 for Detroit City FC to the 11 of Rhode Island, 4 on target, 3 for Rhode Island. Possession here, though, in favor of Rhode Island, 55% to 45%. That is an anomaly this season here for Detroit City FC.
Yeah, well, I mean, you got a multiple goal lead on the road. You know, you're going to kind of sit in a little bit. That's the position of the game that you've earned. And that last third of the match, Rhode Island was just chasing. And looking through the possession number, like when you get into the nuance of it all, they did not really threaten a ton. Those 3 shots on target, one was dribbled up to Saldana. That was a stop, that Saldana's going to make every single time. And they were never threatening. There were never their best chance was the one that went wide that we saw in the highlight clip where Saldana was kind of thankful that went wide of the frame. Other than that, man, that was vintage Detroit City. That was the Detroit City we've seen. And Ben Morris, again, kind of keyed everything. He was really all over the pitch and in a midfielder role, getting up into the play. Ben Morris was incredible. So that was more along the lines of what we've seen in the past, and a quality road win, and you keep it pushing.
Yeah, no question about that. Take a look at the scores here from this week up on your screen. Hey, a big one here, the Riverhounds and Charleston Battery draw.
Yep, absolutely. And, it's when you're a Detroit City fan, really when you're USL Championship fan, that's what you want, your team to bag your 3 points. And then you want a lot of happy trees. You want a lot of draws across the league. So especially for the teams that you're chasing right now, which Detroit City is, and Charleston, boy, things can look a lot different now as far as Charleston and Detroit City are concerned in the span of 7 days. You get a win, they get a draw, then you beat them. Things change very, very quickly. And that's really how it's always been, right? 3 points changes a lot of things, certainly when you get points on the road. Just a reminder to everybody, it is tough to win on the road in this league. It is very, very hard. As we've seen, as you see across the league, it is hard to do.
No question about that. Other scores here of note, Louisville City continuing on their winning ways against North Carolina FC 2-1. FC Tulsa with a victory of 2-1 over San Antonio FC. Memphis 901 and Colorado Springs, they tie. New Mexico United and Hartford Athletic. New Mexico wins that game 1-0. Sacramento Republic 2-0 over Monterey Bay. And the Tampa Bay Rowdies fall to Oakland Roots on Saturday night. Las Vegas Knights, they win 3-1 over Miami FC. And Phoenix Rising beat Orange County 2-1. So, and then to wrap up the weekend, the Birmingham Legion fall to Indy 11, who has been on a tear of late.
Yeah, they absolutely have, and they've gotten it together very, very quickly, and they have made their move, no doubt about it. And there's kind of an upper crust, I guess you could say, to the Eastern Conference that's starting to shape, and Indy 11's definitely in that upper crust right now. Lou City's an absolute wagon. They're keeping it pushing, and that scoreline's even deceiving. They were up 2-0. And that singular goal was scored in like the 94th minute or something like that. So it was just Lou City doing Lou City things. And like, look, man, they're really, really good. Like the national pundits that talk about the league a lot that were like, well, look at what happened to them in Lou City. Tell me the team. Tell me the long line of teams that are winning against Lou City. They're keeping it pushing. But that's the nature of this beast, right? We saw it last year. They're in town in September. So we'll get another look at Lou City, and then the playoffs start. And then you have a bad night, you go home. That's it, period. So, this is all cool and everything like that for Lou City. But in the end, what are you doing in October? That's what matters the most. So we'll see. And certainly, we got a long, long way to go. The summer's just getting started here, and we go till almost Halloween. So just keep that in mind.
No question. I mean, to put things in perspective, Indy 11 has not lost since April the 6th. So, I mean, they have done very well.
I hadn't even paid my taxes yet. The last time that they lost.
No question. 6 in a row. I mean, they have won a lot of games in a row, and they're doing really well. Keep an eye on Indy 11 as we take a look here at the current standings on your screen. Louisville City is sitting atop the table, still with 32 points. Charleston Battery with that tie at Pittsburgh Riverhounds, 29 points. Indy 11 right below, 26 points. Tampa Bay Rowdies have 22. Detroit City currently sitting in 5th with 20. But again, the point differential right now between these teams, not that much between your second place and your 5th place.
No, and we're talking about Indy 11. And just to give everyone some perspective, you talk about Indy 11, they're 6 points clear of Detroit City right now. DCFC has 3 matches at hand. So that's a possible 9 points, however you want to start breaking it down. And that's what I'm saying. Like, on paper, as you look at it, you say, well, City's only 2 points clear of Birmingham. They have 2 matches at hand against Birmingham as well. So, when you start playing these matches at Keyworth, and certainly this is a big one against Charleston this weekend, because you can jump right back into the mix, because Charleston has 3 matches at hand with Detroit City FC. So this is the first, I guess, this will wet your whistle, everybody, of a big match on the season. Because look, I just got done telling you we go till Halloween. So how many truly big matches are there early on? Not a ton in the grand scheme of things, but this is one you can keep an eye on, because again, if you get 3 points against Charleston this week, they're right back there in your sights, and you're on the move. We talked about the move Indy 11 has made. Detroit City can get this match against Charleston. 4 p.m. opening kick, by the way, at Keyworth. We'll have it for you on Detroit 50, ESPN Plus. Go to DebtCityFC.com, get tickets to get out there. It's going to be hype, no doubt about it. But it is a chance for Detroit City to really make that move and jump up into the mix for sure.
We've got to talk about this. We haven't talked a lot about Miami, but Miami's sitting at the bottom of the table. Yeah. They've won 2 games this season. They've lost 11, got 1 tie. They are not getting any points, and they are struggling right now here in the middle half of this season.
No doubt. And of course, Detroit City, they will be going to Miami. What is that? That's coming up in July, I believe. So, you look at it too. This is where I believe that they'll start to pick up points to some degree in their home matches, because I was just down there in South Florida. It's 97 degrees. The heat index is about 110. The humidity is about 1 gajillion %, and that's only going to amp up, right? Like, that's only going to intensify. So I believe at some point you'll see them at least start to pick up some points at home, just because of the environment that you have to go there to play. Because you have to survive. When you go down there, you have to survive to win. So I think the conditions and the climate will be just as big of a challenge for teams that go in there to play Miami FC. And, that they'll start to get some results. Am I saying they're going to make a push in the Eastern Conference? No, I'm not saying that. But at some point, they will start to get results.
I think the more important question, Neil, is how are the Greens playing in South Florida?
They're rolling pretty good. They were absolutely rolling pretty good, no doubt. I was down there. I got some golf in. So got the good tan going to
nice.
A little bit. So I got a nice head start. But no, they're it's warm down there. Let's just say it like that. So again, I think Miami FC will start to pick up some points along the way.
That they will. We'll take a look here. Now, Maxi Rodriguez picked up his 4th goal of the season. Obviously leads the team here for Detroit City FC. That 4th goal is good for right now in the overall league stats. Is good for 19th in the league right now. Nicholas Markinich, he is still atop with 12 goals here for the Charleston Battery.
No, and he's a guy I've called as he's kind of come up through the ranks of American soccer. I believe I called him. He was part of Lansing Ignite back in USL League One. So, he's a guy I'm pretty familiar with. We'll get a look at him coming up this weekend, as a matter of fact, when Detroit City hosts Charleston. So that'll be an exciting matchup. And remember, Elvis Amo's back, and he looked good. And that's Detroit City FC's double-digit goal guy. Now, with the injury, he may not get there in terms of the season, but he's that guy for Detroit City FC. So it'll be a fun matchup. I think you'll see a couple of goals scored this weekend, and it'll go back and forth a little bit.
That you will. As a clean sheet this week, Carlos Aldana gets a clean sheet for Detroit City FC, his first of the season. Nate Steinwasser has 2 of his own, so Detroit has 3 shutouts so far in the season. Those 3 shutouts would be good for 11th in the league if one of our goalkeepers just happened to have all 3 of them. But either way, Detroit City with 3 total shutouts here in clean sheets this season. As we look ahead here now to, again, a very, very important key matchup here at home this weekend, the Charleston Battery coming into into town, taking on Detroit City FC. That game kicks off at 4 o'clock here on Saturday. And again, it's a good one. Again, Charleston Battery currently sitting second in the league. Detroit City currently sitting fifth. You talked about that. The league leading goal scorer in Markinich is coming into town as well. Detroit City might have their hands full.
Yeah, they will, but keep in mind, too, we talk about all the goals that they scored early on. That was early on. You're talking about back-to-back scoreless draws for Charleston, and that sandwiched around a one-goal performance against El Paso. Their last win was back on May 15th. They got a 1-0 win over Birmingham Legion. So yes, Markanich has a lot of goals, and he leads the league in that capacity, but they haven't been scoring a lot as of late. So everybody goes through this, guys. It's soccer. Nobody comes out. You're not scoring 4 goals a week unless you're Lou City at home. They are. But everybody else, you go through this. You go through ebbs and flows. And I've heard, a lot of sports people at all levels I respect say it's not who you play, it's when you play them. And that was kind of my thing with the rationale where I talked about Miami earlier on. I'll say that about Charleston right now. It's not who you play, it's when you play them. The teams that play Charleston at the beginning of the year are saying, "Oh yeah, now they're having a hard time scoring." That's the way that it works. So, if you can keep your sheet clean, it only takes one for Detroit City FC. So, I'm hyped. This is one of those ones that gets the juices going a little bit. And again, I know it's June. Like I know it's June and everything, and there's a long way to go. But Jonathan, this is the first taste of playoffs, and it's in the back of your mind. It's a long way off, but this is the first taste that you get. All right, let's see who's who here at Keyworth on Saturday at 4 p.m.
No question about it. Let's take a look at other games here around the league. Friday night, Loudoun United versus Las Vegas Lights. That game kicks off at 7 p.m. from Segra Field. 7 p.m. kickoff for Hartford Athletic against Pittsburgh Riverhounds from Trinity Health Stadium. In the 11 back underway at Michael A. Carroll Stadium at 7 p.m. against San Antonio FC. The Tampa Bay Rowdies against Louisville City from Al Lang Stadium kicks off at 7:30.
The eyes will be on that one.
To be a very important match. Then Memphis 901 FC against New Mexico United, 8:30 p.m. kickoff from AutoZone Park. Widener Field will have Colorado Springs Switchbacks versus Orange County SC at 9 p.m. Southwest University Park. El Paso Locomotive welcoming in Phoenix Rising for a 9 p.m. kick. And at 11 p.m., a late one, Sacramento Republic taking on Oakland Roots from Heart Health Park in Sacramento. So those are your games this Saturday. And then on Sunday, the last one, the game cap of the weekend, North Carolina FC taking on Monterey Bay FC, a 6 p.m. kickoff from Wake Med Soccer Park in North Carolina.
All eyes on that Lou City Tampa Bay matchup for sure. Loudoun United, man, keeping it pushing inside the playoff line and sitting in 7th right now. They have 17 points. So they're doing a good job out there, no doubt about it.
They've won 3 in a row. And we haven't talked, obviously, early in the season, we talked about how going 5-0 for Detroit was a big deal because it is. To win 5 in a row and at this level, soccer, talk about 5 soccer games, right. It is not an easy thing to accomplish. You're seeing teams like Indy 11 winning 7-8 in a row. On a tear, and they're not just winning games in USL Championship; they're winning games in US Open Cup as well. So they've won some games this season. It is hard to pull that many games together in a row like this.
No, and that's where and we tried to caution against that when we did the preview show when Detroit City was going to Loudoun United, and when they came away with that draw out at Loudoun United, I said this. I've called this team a couple of times this year. I think I've done 3 or 4 of their matches. This isn't the Loudoun United you thought of before. So they certainly have made a move. So there's some new blood there looking to make a push in the Eastern Conference.
That it is. But, hey, we are a wrap here on this recap show. Neil, we did this in 19 minutes here today.
Okay.
We're under 20-minute mark.
Efficient. You get efficiency here on the Detroit City FC recap show.
When there's not 3 games that we have to cover in one show, we tend to...
Yeah, makes life a little easier.
But yeah, if you're first time stopping by, hey, hit that subscribe button, like us, and share us with your friends and family. Hey, make sure you come back each and every week as we bring this show to you every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. here on the Michigan Soccer Network. Hey, grab some coffee, grab a drink, enjoy the show.
No, absolutely. And Jonathan, and yeah, can't underscore that. If you have Detroit City FC friends out there, share the show with them. This, to my knowledge, is your home for Detroit City FC. This is our show, everybody. So again, if you could share that around, help us blow this thing up and get this thing rolling. We're doing what nobody else is doing right here. So please make sure you share that with your friends, subscribe, and get it in. We're here every week. Nobody else is doing it, but we're here doing it.
That's right. That's right. So that's a wrap here on this Week 14 recap show. I'll be back next week to recap the Charleston Battery game and looking ahead to the next matchup here coming up later this month.